Hello, District Udupi. District Udupi. Am I audible?
It's from Tirunelveli district, Tamil Nadu. Our audio video here, sir.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Okay.
District Tirunelveli.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes, you're audible, ma'am, and you're also visible. The video is fine.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Hello, District Udupi. Hello, District Udupi. Are you able to hear us?
See you, Rupi. Are you there? You, Rupi. Are you there?
District Kozhikode. Am I audible to you?
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, can you please switch on the video?
Sorry.
Can you please switch on the video, sir? We'll check if the video is working or not.
Yeah. Is it all right?
Yeah, it's visible. It's all right. Voice
Also,
is also
sir,
fine.
from Kozhikode, so your spelling is wrong in the description. It says an extra D in the end, so you may correct that, sir, whenever possible. Thank you.
District Udupi, am I audible? Are you able to hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, can you please switch on the video?
Sir,
Sir, please switch on the video. We're checking the video if it is working or not. So will you please switch on the videos? Yes, sir. Thank you. District Tiruvallur. Hello. District Tiruvallur. Am I audible to you, sir?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Sir, can you please switch on the video? Hello. Please switch on the video so that we will check it if the video is working or not.
Sir, District Tiruvallur responding, sir. Here we can able to hear your voice, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, can you please switch on your video? We'll check if it is working, if you are able to see you or not.
Sir,
District Tiruvallur. Sir, can you please switch on your video? We're just checking if the video is working.
Yeah,
Yes,
DC
sir.
code is here.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
District
yes.
Tiruvallur now. Turn on the video and
Fine,
audio,
fine,
sir.
fine. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
This is Tirunelveli district, Tamil Nadu.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're visible, sir.
Okay,
The
okay,
video is
thank you,
fine.
sir.
Okay, okay. Sir, this is a request to all the districts. If you have prepared a PPT, kindly mail it to us, sir, because this will be a purely conversational discussion here. So we won't have enough time to present the PPT here. If you have prepared any presentation, please send it over to us on mail. District Bandipura. Are you able to hear us? Are we audible?
Sir, good afternoon.
Okay, thank you. We're just checking sir, if the voice is clear or not. We'll be starting in a minute or so. So all the panelists are requested to please switch on the video. To be better that way. Good afternoon, everyone. Secretary man and Joint Secretary man will be joining very soon. Just give us a minute. We really appreciate your patience. Thank you.
Hello to all. Honorable Secretary, Social Justice, and our Joint Secretary will be joining shortly.
Very good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon to everybody. So sorry for being 10 minutes late. It's a technical lag. Welcome you all the district collectors, the young and vibrant district collectors, and the audience and the viewers from across the country, all the youngsters who are watching this program, all the stakeholders of Nasha Bharat Abhiyan, and Radhika Chakravarthy, the Joint Secretary, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. And I welcome you all to this program of Sashakt Bharat with Nasha Bharat Abhiyan. As you all know, that we have had earlier a series of panel discussions with our district collectors across the country. And we had got the first-hand input from all of them as to how they are leading the Nasha Bharat Abhiyan in their district, and several innovative measures they have taken. And this Nasha Bharat Abhiyan, as you all know, it started in 2020, August 15th. Now, after 2 years, the reach of this Nasha Bharat Abhiyan has been to more than 8 crore populations with a physical touch to each of these 8 crore people across the country. So as you all know, Honorable Home Minister regularly reviews the narcotics issue in the country, and as a part of that, as a part of the NCOD mechanism, Abhiyan is reviewed at the highest of the levels, and it has been appreciated. So any appreciation coming from any corner, and especially from the top, comes with, puts a lot of responsibility on all your shoulders, and therefore, I urge all of you, all the stakeholders and the viewers seeing this program, to understand the objectives of Nasha Bharat Abhiyan and where we progressed from 2020 to 2022, the end of 2022, where we are. And we have with us our young collectors from 8 districts today who have done exceptional work, and they are here physically present, and they are here today present to share their initiatives and share their experiences. So before I invite each of you, this is mostly like a panel discussion, and everybody is free to interrupt and contribute in this program. And the specific topic we had given here is mapping out local initiatives for a progressive district. So this is in the context of Nasha Bharat Abhiyan. So at the outset, I would request. So she has joined. So we would, our Secretary, Social Justice and Empowerment, Ms. Anjali Bhawra, would be joining us very shortly. So I would like to proceed, and when ma'am joins, we would ask her to address the viewers. So I would like to start. As you all know, elections are happening, the voting mechanism, the democracy, the foundation of democracy, the voting system, the electoral system is very, very important, especially in a democracy like ours. But the innovative idea of that, the NMBA, even there's a process of NMBA that, the voting practice has to be, inculcated. Holy Code, we have Tej Logit Reddy, the District Magistrate, started an innovative campaign of vote against drugs. And literally we have seen like youngsters, people stepping out and voting for certain things. So about this campaign, I would ask you, Tej, to share your experiences, how this idea came, and what is the impact? How has it been executed?
Sure, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone, dear friends. Ma'am, this initiative of ours is part of a year-long campaign which we started in the new year, on the New Year day. The campaign is named Pudulahari Leki. It means in local, it is in Malayalam. It literally means on to new drugs. Means we want to encourage healthy lifestyle by suggesting people to avoid intoxicating drugs which are harmful to life and replace them with healthy intoxicants like sports, culturals, etc. So that is the basic name, the main name of the campaign with which we started anti-drug awareness campaign this year. And after meeting you, ma'am, around April or something, I remember we came to know about the Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan, and then we merged our campaign into Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan campaign. So that's how we got access to the funds which were lying idle for the past 1 year. And then we had a brainstorming session on how to increase the reach of NMBA across various sections of the society. So we wanted to do the program in a systematic way, covering all sections of the society. So just like how we were planning sweep election campaign, election awareness campaigns, we wanted to do it in such a systematic manner. So in this brainstorming, we have identified certain sections of the society whom we can cover in a systematic way. And our more priority group was students who are just about to enter into colleges or are studying now in colleges. So that's how we came to target this group. And during our brainstorming sessions, the best way which we identified is to actively engage them instead of just giving a awareness class or taking a pledge. We wanted to do something innovative. That's how we came up with this idea of voting for new drugs, new and healthy drugs. That is the gist of our campaign. And we have merged election process, which we normally do, and an anti-drug awareness message, both, so that these children will get an awareness of both our election and as well as they will receive the message of anti-drug awareness. So the campaign was organized with the help of our collegiate education department and higher secondary education department. Before conducting the election in colleges, we had a meeting of all the principals, and we have given them rules and regulations on what to be followed on the election day. We have appointed presiding officers from among the students themselves, and counting observers and election day observers are also sent. Similar to just how we conduct an election, regular election, a similar way we have conducted this election, ma'am. And this ballot papers were also printed with the help of our stores and stationery department and circulated with numbered ballot papers. So we took it, we did it so seriously that the colleges and the schools which participated got that seriousness. Since we did it with so much gravity, the message got percolated to the schools and colleges, and they also took it up very seriously. Since election is in general motivating, I mean, it's an actively engaging it's an activity which will engage everyone. So people, students themselves came up with new ideas on how to vote for candidates, how to mobilize people to vote for their candidate. Like that, there were several active student campaigns done in each college, and we could reach around 1.5 lakh students in this activity, ma'am. There were around 10 candidates in the ballot paper, and the winner was travel. Yatra, that means travel is the winner in our campaign, and we successfully reached 1.5 lakh students in this single activity. And in this, as part of this campaign, we also want to as a way forward, we want to cover other sections of the society. Now we are planning to cover all the we have around 4.5 lakh women in our district enrolled in the self-help group Kudumbashri groups. So we want to cover all the 4.5 lakh women who are enrolled in Kudumbashri as a part of our next NMBA campaign. So this is what I want to share, ma'am. Thank you very much.
That is one excellent innovative idea, Tej. In fact, we have showcased it in one of our presentations from the ministry. It's an outstanding idea, and it was actually a visual delight when we actually saw your pictures, the way you have done it, and 200 educational institutions participating, the crowds of youngsters coming and voting. That was one example, a very good example set by Kozhikode. Dr. Tej Lovit Reddy, the district collector, was speaking to us, ma'am. And we have with us the Secretary Social Justice and Empowerment, Anjali Bhawra, ma'am, here with us. Ma'am, I would request you to address this gathering. We have 8 dynamic young collectors with us today on this panel, ma'am, and we have thousands of viewers across the country with all our stakeholder participating organizations and all the youngsters seeing this program. Ma'am, would you like to address them?
Thank you, Radhika, and good afternoon, everyone. This is my first interaction, or rather, as a viewer, to listen to the best practices or the work being done by our dynamic and young district collectors in their respective districts while executing, or rather promoting, rather advocating this program of Nasha Mukta Bharat Abhiyan. I have joined this ministry only 2.5 months ago, and I have got an exposure to Nasha Mukta Bharat Abhiyan that was being started by the ministry in 2020, and now it has been extended up to 372 districts. So, in all dynamic collectors that we have in our districts, we have now 372 strong force in these districts to carry forward this abhiyan of ours. Of it is everybody's abhiyan basically. Not it's only the ministry is you can say a part in just to to coordinate and do other activities, but groundwork is done by all the district collectors, and we are very happy that as I could hear DC Kozhikode that what are the activities that they have done and how they have mobilized the young minds, to and sensitize them towards not taking drugs basically, and sensitizing them to say and to get a courage and to have that kind of skill and knowledge basically to say no to such kind of allurements. This is where our success lies, and I would like to hear a few more. Definitely, this is something a very good learning platform also. And Radhika, I'll say that you should organize. You must be organizing in the past also such meets, but please organize these meets, and then we pick up few best practices to be showcased in our presentations at the regional level conferences and in the NCORD meeting at the central level. And sometimes, if the chairman permits, we may ask a district collector also to be connected with those VCs, and maybe in 3 minutes, if they can share their experiences or the new things that they have started in creating awareness against nasha. So that also we can develop that kind of format subsequently. And I think one more thing that we can do, Radhika, is to organize a meeting at the level of our honorable minister, cabinet minister, and then connect the district collectors based on the work that they have done. Few may get time to air their views and their work, but others can also be sharing from that experience, and we'll have an advantage of having views of our honorable minister also in this regard. So that also we can start. And with all these things, my best wishes to everyone. Seeing such young collectors, gives you a lot of confidence that the work is being carried out very effectively and efficiently. Thank you very much. I have some other meeting I would like to log off, please. And next meeting, I promise that I'll be sitting through the entire meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And as ma'am has said, The entire abhiyan is being taken forward by our district collectors in the field, and it would be actually lovely to have you all on those forums where the extensive review happens and where all you can be invited to showcase the practices you have done in your districts. So I next move on to the new district, Baramulla. As you all know, 272 districts were the initial districts, most affected districts identified. And subsequently, this year we had added these 100 districts as a second phase to Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan. And it is so wonderful to see Dr. Saharish of Baramulla, the district collector of Baramulla, this launched Nai Soch initiative, and it is actually a very focused intervention, I must say, where a team of experts have been constituted from multiple departments to address the issue in a collaborative manner. So in a district, to attempt at this bigger issue of substances, especially in a place like Baramulla district, through a collective manner, I think we find it to be very innovative. So Dr. Sahrish, request you to please throw some light on this, how you have done it. I've seen your pictures. As you all know, Jammu Kashmir is one of the states which promptly sends us all the pictures and all the videos. So we get to almost it's on real time basis. So I have seen the things you have done, but for our viewers' sake, I would request you all to share, request you, Sahrish, to share your experiences as to how you have done this.
Very good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon to all the colleagues and friends in this meeting. Ma'am, I'm very elated to be here, especially because it was a dream for me to launch this project. The whole concept started when I came here in Baramulla, and there were a lot of females who were coming to me, especially mothers who were coming to me that please arrest my child because he's now stealing things from home, he's beating us up, and he's taking money. Or it was not even gender specific, even females. There were a lot of females, women who were involved in drugs, and they were doing all sorts of activities, not just stealing. There were women who were even in prostitution, and their parents were coming to me, mostly women coming to me because they felt very comfortable, maybe, and came to me and said that we want our children to be arrested, and we have a specific act here, Public Safety Act. So they were telling me that in PSA may or put them under PSA so that they can be away from the homes for at least 2 years, which was really shocking to me as a mother. Also, it was really shocking to me that mothers are telling that their children should be behind bars and they should be taken away. So when I went into the whole details, and I found that the whole district is infested with a lot of drug addiction problem. There are almost 4 to 5% people who are involved in drugs, and they are young people going to schools, going to colleges, and some are dropouts who are in this whole process of not just being the victims but also becoming peddlers in due course of time and creating all sorts of antisocial activities. So what we did at the first step was, because I wanted this to be very specific, I wanted it to really touch the lives of people. So I thought that women are the best source. We have a lot of women who are our self-help group members, almost lakhs of women in Baramulla. If I talk about, there are 70,000 groups, and I thought that we should involve women not just in self-help groups but also women who are working in Anganwadis as Anganwadi workers, as Asha workers, and as ANMs. So we have a lot of women folk who are working in different departments of the government and as self-help group members also. And it started from there. So Nahi Soch was basically involving women in such taboo issues, because hitherto it was not being discussed that that women should be involved in such activities. But I strongly believe that if a woman of the household is involved in such kind of social behavioral change, the whole family can change. They can influence their children. They can influence societies. So this program was basically started on that. The first session we held was on 26th of June, which is basically the day for which is the drug de-addiction day, which is celebrated throughout the world. So we started on the 26th of June as International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking in a university campus here in Baramulla. We invited all the self-help group members. We invited the Anganwadi workers, ANMs, Ashas. There were a lot of females. And when I talked about this, there were women crying, listening to these stories because they could relate to it. And it was related, these incidents of drug abuse and drug addiction was somehow connected to violence against women also. So these women who were like wives or even daughters, sisters, they could really relate to this thing, that lot of men who go into drug addiction or even alcohol or any such drug abuse, they resort to violence against women also. So it was a combined approach that we started there. And then we told them how we can help transform societies. We talked to them about their rights as women, various schemes that government is taking up for women, which was not just in for education purposes, scholarships, but also for entrepreneurship, so that they can stand on their legs and they can support their families financially also, they can support themselves also. So this integrated approach was really something that we started from the district. Then it went on to the block level. So we constituted block level committees at all blocks, and we took educational blocks, because the educational blocks were really organized already. So in all these committees at the block levels, we had ZEOs, that is zonal education officers. Then we had CDPOs and the block medical officers, and we also had volunteers from the schools. In total, we had almost, if you talk about the figures, we had almost 21,600 just committee members. So these were volunteers plus BMOs, ZDOs, their staff. So this whole, these people were directly connected to us in one way or the other. And we started holding camps at the block levels. So these photographs also, ma'am, I have sent to you in the mail also, that we held these sessions at all blocks. So it was not just information. We were also getting information from them, that who are the drug peddlers, who are the people who are real victims and need help. So because people were not very forthcoming in telling us the names, so we made it a kind of confidential thing, and sarpanches were also involved, panches, sarpanches were also involved, and police was something that we really needed to involve, because they already were doing this. So it was an integrated approach where we also took the help of police, and we told them that we don't have to just penalize. If somebody really needs help, we have to find out a mechanism. And we also started the police, along with police, a rehabilitation cell. We did not have much infrastructure. There were just 3 rooms and some 2 people who were trained. And we started from there. And many people, they said that we don't want to come to the center, we want to talk to you. So we started this helplines also. So in the police rehabilitation center, we started a helpline where people would just call and tell us that what can we do now? Like, we want to leave this. Some people were also saying that we don't want to do this, but we can't help it. So we were telling them how, in a very professional manner, how to go about it. And we also, because we have a GMC in Baramulla, there is an alternate treatment center. We popularized that alternate treatment center, and we also have a helpline for that alternate treatment center. So many people, many women, many men, they don't want to come to the center, but they call us. So we started collecting the data. How many people were there who were calling us, who wanted to go as inpatients, who wanted to be outpatients. So this whole approach was an integrated approach. Nai Soch became an integrated approach, and because we are just 4 months old, I really see in the future that this will become the turning point when people will voluntarily, the families will voluntarily come forward and direct their children, direct others whom they are in contact with, to come and get help. So what we now are trying to do is not just give information of how this thing is really bad for their health or for the society, but also as a what are the punitive measures that that police is taking. So we involve the District Legal Services Authority, and they try to tell in these sessions what are the legal provisions. If you get caught, what is the kind of fine, what is the kind of imprisonment. So this approach also helped us to sensitize people who were being allured by some gangs or some antisocial elements, that they will get more money, that they can like earn also. So basically this whole racket which was going on here, and is still, there are a lot of people who are still involved in these activities, but we are trying to present a picture where we are telling them, if you get involved in this, these are the punitive things that the government is going to take steps against you. And ma'am, what we are doing is NCOD and NMBA. Both of these meetings we are doing every month. So we involve all these departments. We involve the police department. We involve the district legal service authority. We give them targets, that these are the number of targets that you have to do. For example, ARTO, the regional transport officer, we have told them that your target is on all the public transport, there has to be a poster of say no to drugs. To education department, we have told that on every wall of the school education department or the colleges, you have to paint say no to drugs or alcohol and smoking. So by an integrated approach, what we are trying to do is trying to sensitize the entire community, and our focus is on the women folk, so that we involve them in these issues, because they are the ones who are who either in the family or even in various departments, various institutions of our state, they can influence others. So we are using them to influence our youngsters, influence other people, whomever they come in contact with. So ma'am, as of now, our achievement, if I say, will be that we have held sessions in almost all blocks, all institutions, all medical. We have a medical college there also, in all degree colleges, in all school education institutions, and we hold ICT kind of interactions where all schools and colleges, they are connected. And if there's a resource person, we try that in every institution at least once or twice a month this session is being held. So these are general directions to all the schools, to all colleges, that these classes or these sessions have to be held every month, so that the rhythm is not broken. We don't go for a one-off kind of thing. It has to be a systematic approach, and we get daily inputs of how many people they have come in contact with, or how many sessions they have held in institutions. And let me tell you, ma'am, that we also have a one-stop center and the hub for women, that is DHEW, District Hub for Empowerment of Women. There also we have our the helpline numbers, and women really call them that these are the acts of violence against them or connected to drug abuse and drug addiction also. So in these, because we have established them just 2 months back, the number of cases, ma'am, that we have registered in the one-stop center are 137, out of which we have disposed of 108 cases. And we also involve the District Legal Service Authority in it, and we also forward some cases to cybercrime. So in total, ma'am, if I say that the NAI approach project, which we have started in Baramulla, has tried to touch the lives of people through different departments, through women folk, and trying to change the mentality of the people, that if you want to do something for the society, you have to come forward, and there is no shame, no taboo in talking about such issues. Even women are talking about this. If women are involved in drugs also, even they are coming up. We have got some people who have left drugs, and as rehabilitated people, they also talk about how was their experience, how they have come back, how they have recovered. So ma'am, this is what was a Nahi Soch.
Sandesh, I think you have covered almost all the important points, I will say. But all of us who are here watching and participating and working for Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan, we all know one thing. I feel we know one thing very clearly, is that whatever things, that this is something that we need to do with our heart. Lot of things we do very professionally, but there are certain things we need to really put our heart and feelings into. And Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan is one such activity. And your nice soul exactly reflects, I feel, this feel and that personal touch, Sanish. I've seen the visuals I could make out, the kind of participation. And I would like to flag here to everybody there are certain important points Dr. Sailesh has touched upon today. One is that how do we inculcate that help-seeking behavior? The need to make it a community-based approach. The third point is that women who are into substance use for certain reasons or for various reasons, they do not come out to seek help. There is no treatment facility or counseling facility for women users. How do we provide that? Or how do we even think on those lines? The fourth thing is practically when we discuss a lot of things, how do we involve everybody, like conducting NCOD as well as NMBA meetings every month. I think that is a very good thing. It is mandated, but if we conduct, this would be the outcome. I think these are very important points you have come out, Dr. Sailesh. Thank you very much for sharing those. I'll come back to you again. Now we move to Tiruvallur. Tiruvallur is again a second phase district. Dr. Alvi John Varghese, the district collector, is with us. So he has done something called a district innovation hub. So now this is very like, social and technology. It sounds very technological. So district innovation hub and the Tiruvallur Super League and Tiruvallur Premium League for higher secondary schools. And there is a NIE Oli, that means you are the light. I think it's the name of the intervention. So Dr. John Varghese, can you tell us about it? NIE Oli.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, friends. So it is a great opportunity to be part of this panel about local initiatives for a progressive district. Our campaign on NMBA is part of the statewide campaign on drive against drugs. This was started in this August by our Honorable Chief Minister. And we are following a three-pronged strategy. First is reducing the availability of drugs and narcotic substances in the district. Second, creating awareness on such psychotropic substances among the students and the vulnerable population. Thirdly, creating a mechanism so that people who are already addicted to such substances can bounce back to normalcy or bounce back to life. So this is the three major pillars we are working our initiative on. Basically, we have mapped the vulnerable population in the district. So we have the secondary school students alone. We have around 2 lakhs, 2.3 lakh students we have, and college students are around 1.5 lakh college students are there. So these are the vulnerable population, the most vulnerable population that we are targeting now. And we have done a vulnerability mapping also. So based on that, what we have understood, ours is a peri-urban district. It is just close to the capital city of Chennai. So during this vulnerability analysis, what we understood is that, the schools and colleges which are closer to the urban pockets, which are closer to Chennai, are more vulnerable to drug and other practices. While the rural schools are, it is still there, but it is not that much prevalent. Ours is a border district also. We share our border with Andhra Pradesh. So again, what we have understood is that the trafficking of drugs and ganja and other substances through the relatively porous border that we have is another challenge that we have. So what we are doing is that to create awareness among the secondary students and the college students, we have earmarked schools and colleges to be visited by senior level officials. Like we are conducting a program called Collector at School, SP at School. So every week, the District Magistrate and the District Superintendent of Police will visit schools and colleges in the district and create awareness among the students. Then anti-drug college clubs we have started in all colleges. District Innovation Hub is an initiative for us from our side to seek participation from the young and educated population in the district. So we have a district internship program also. We have 10 interns as of now working in the District Innovation Hub. So many of these projects have come by the intervention of this District Innovation Fellows along with our regular government staff. So what is Tiruvallur Super League and the Tiruvallur Premier League? That we have identified that sports can be used as a major major effort in curtailing drug menace. So what we are doing is that we are creating cricket and football teams in all the schools and colleges in the district. Many of the schools already had, some schools did not. So we gave sport equipments and other facilities for them to start out the football and cricket teams. And in similar to the Indian Premier League, we have started a Tiruvallur Premier League, and similar to the Super League, the ISL, Indian Super League, we have started a Super League for both cricket and football sport in the district. So we have, as of now, we have around 1,000 teams we have registered in the district, and first school level matches are getting conducted. Thereafter, block level matches, and we are planning to have district level matches by February end. So we feel that this would help us in promoting sport among the school going students, and that is one particular thing which will help us to prevent the drug abuse among these students. Another thing which we have done innovatively in the district is the participation with corporates as well as the non-governmental organizations. So our district has 14 developmental blocks. Out of that, 4 blocks, an NGO called Sanitation First is giving training and awareness sessions to all the students in these 4 developmental blocks over a period of 6 months. So it is not a one session. Like every month, there will be one session for all the students in this developmental blocks, and the tie-up, the financials for this project is around, along with other teaching aids and other substances, is almost 1 crore. So this is supported by a corporate, and we are able to leverage the tag of an industrial district that we have, and since we are close to Chennai, we have a lot of NGOs which are willing to work with us also. So these 4 blocks, an NGO called Sanitation First is working, and another 4 blocks, an NGO called Banyan is working with us. Along with that, our third major intervention is to have a mechanism for people who are already addicted to the substances to come back to normalcy. So we have started a helpline kind of number where people can reach out to us. 2 things can be done. One, if they themselves would like to quit drug abuse or other substance abuse, they can reach out to us. Secondly, sometimes what we understand is that, in some schools, the students themselves would like to inform about other students who are doing this kind of activities, but sometimes they don't want to be identified. So this again is a good window for us to get real-time information. But at the same time, we are not revealing the names to that particular school where such instances are reported. We are generally giving counseling to all the students in that school. For that, we have appointed 8 counselors in the district also to go to vulnerable schools and give psychological counseling to the students who are vulnerable to drug abuse. Along with that, as Dr. Sharish was mentioning, we are taking into confidence the panchayat leaders and other local influencers also, because we feel that with the community participation alone, we could make this a people's movement and we can make it successful. And for the last 4 months, we are not reducing our efforts on the enforcement side also. The number of cases booked and number of the quantity of drugs that is seized, that is followed up on a weekly basis. The NCORD meeting is conducted on a very regular basis, and we are using the our Detainment Act 15 of Tamil Nadu government for detaining people who are habitually involving in drug peddling and other related offenses. So with prevention, enforcement, and at the same time supporting the people who are vulnerable, we think we would be able to make a very good difference in the next 2 to 3 months. It's almost like 4 months that we have started now. A lot has been done, but we are certain that a lot needs to be done also. So we are on the track. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. John Verghese. All of us who are working on National Bharat Abhiyan for some time now, we know that one thing is the key, that is consistency. We just cannot start something and not do it for a certain period of time. And that is the principle I think all of you are following, consistently addressing this issue. You identify a slum or a hotspot or any place closer to city or rural area, but the need for consistent action in that area is the key to resolve the issue. I'm sure all of you have realized, and no better way than through sports. Having sub-district level competitions, then district level, then coming to state level, and probably we can actually maybe take it up to national level too at a different forum if required. But sports definitely should be promoted as an alternative, as we all know that in the sporting states, especially in the sporting states, sports is an alternative to this problem, to address this problem. I'm very glad. And Tamil Nadu, as a state, I understand that the CM is also leading this program, and I could get this humongous figures of children in the schools and colleges taking oath on one particular day as a part of Nasha Bharat Abhiyan, and also as a part of the state, their state program was a wonderful sight to see. So sports is one way to go. So going ahead to Mizoram, Northeast, we know that that is where a lot of football activities happen. Now we also see that futsal tournaments. In addition to the football, the futsal tournaments. Those of the viewers who are wanting to know what exactly is this futsal tournament among the youth to spread awareness, which has been done in Mizoram, in Champai district. Sri James, who's the district collector, request you, Mr. James, to talk us about these tournaments. How are you promoting sports among the youth, and the various health camp or the community-related activities or the coordinated, the awareness activities you have been carrying out in your district. Can you tell us something about this, especially the football and the futsal tournaments you have had?
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, all my colleagues and panelists. Yes, I am happy to have this opportunity to highlight a few of our systems here. Sports is a very important measure for controlling of drug abuse. So in Mizoram, football is very popular, as well as futsal. We are all aware of futsal, I think. Futsal is a miniature football type, which is very, very common now in our district. So we came up with the idea that if we can grab the interest of the youth through sports and take that opportunity to spread awareness and fight against drugs in the meantime. We had conducted district level under 14 and under 17 football tournaments in collaboration with the District Football Association in Champai district. So apart from that, we also conducted futsal tournament for under 16 and the senior team in collaboration with the sub-headquarters Young Mizo Association. So we have been able to gather a lot of people through these activities. The main points now here is that using these activities during this football and futsal tournament, we spread awareness on effects of substance abuse and tell them how to adopt healthy lifestyle instead of the drug abuse. So we distribute a lot of IEC materials in local language to all the players, the coaches, the staff, and the spectators also. So this has been a very important platform. And then Nasha Muk Bharat Abhiyan posters in local language have been displayed in all these events and then recorded also. One important thing which I feel is that for the players, before they start any game, we organize pledge taking conducted by Nasha Muk Bharat Abhiyan members. So the players will take pledge before starting the game to fight against drugs and to abstain from drugs. So this pledge taking has been viewed very positively by the people also. So once people take the pledge, it affects their life also. And then one important thing during this game is that we prepare digital handouts on drug prevention awareness campaigns through Facebook and the WhatsApp, mainly these two social media. Digital handouts are very effectively utilized on our campaigns. And then during this tournament, we have collaborated with the district hospital to conduct HIV blood tests, which has been very successful. Youth are encouraged, everyone is encouraged to test their blood and to see their actual condition. And this has been creating a lot of good improvement in our undertakings. HIV blood tests have been conducted. And then I would like to again speak a little on the health issues. Health camps for substance users have been organized by the Nashamuk Bharat Abhiyan volunteers with support from doctors and nurses from the district hospital. And we also provide medical checkups for substance users with free medicine wherever possible. We provide free medicine to them also, and then followed up by the individual counseling. Then we also take up referral and linkages to the centers like rehab centers, hospitals, and then we also conduct some follow-up programs. And then one very important thing we have is the students' clubs. We have very active students' clubs introduced in all the schools and colleges. Intensive drug prevention program for the youth have been organized under Nashamuk Bharat Abhiyan, targeting the schools as well as the colleges. Students' clubs have been formed in many schools and colleges. Then the important thing is the members of the clubs participated in voluntary blood donation for the district hospital blood banks in Champhai. And during this whole process, we are always stressing on the awareness campaigns during blood donations. And members also participate in rallies, like on International Day Against Drug Abuse. And then we also organize slogan writing, poetry, short video clips, and some competitions focused on the awareness campaigns for drug abuse. Members also participate in essay and songwriting competition, and then booklets, pamphlets, leaflets have been distributed to the peers. What I would like to mention here is that we have extensively utilized the services of the peer volunteers who have been trained under Nashamuk Bharat Abhiyan. They have been very, very helpful in carrying our projects ahead. Here, our main activities are in schools and colleges, and then we have a very powerful NGO called the Young Mizo Association, spreading throughout the state. So the YMS and then the churches all across the districts, they have been actively involved to take up the Nashamuk Bharat Abhiyan activities. And like other districts, we also have very good interaction with NCORD. In all the activities with the NCORD, NMBA and NCORD are working together very actively in the district. So this has been very, very helpful for us. one important point I would like to mention here is we have district education committees. So all the teachers are expected to be campaigners in their respective school. So the district education committee has reached out to all the teachers in the schools, the district education officers, SDEOs. They have been requested to make all the teachers effective campaigners for their school, to reach out to all the students. So this has been a very, very important initiative, which I would like to point out. And last of all, the challenge we face is that our district is located in the Indo-Myanmar border. So we are having around 28 villages who have direct connections with the Myanmar, in the Myanmar borders. So as we all know, the border is very porous also. There are many instances of drug trafficking here. So this is a major challenge for our district. And the way we are thinking is that we have to uh, keep on trying, keep on educating the people, the masses, through social media, through the churches, through the NGOs. We have to keep on taking up our activities so that we can make our country safe. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Futsal is a smaller version of football with 5 players on each side. Am I right?
Five players on each side. Yes.
Players on each side, a smaller version of football is
Yes.
futsal, and which is very, very popular in Mizoram. And then you are using that to spread the message of awareness about drugs. I think that's incredible. So thanks for doing that as an innovative practice, James. But you have flagged 2, 3 important points which I'd like to tell all our collectors and the viewers here. Is the focus on the border villages. Those states and districts having borders, sharing borders, especially the international borders, we have a separate strategy, worked out a separate strategy for these border villages and border districts. So that is one meeting which we are going to have with all the concerned, because there are specific interventions we need to do as a part of Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan, as a part of the border management. And the other point which you raised is about the teachers. We are in that country where teachers are gods. As you all know, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, we say. Guru is everything, the teacher is everything. And what is the best way of going through the teachers? And that is one segment which requires sensitization about drugs. And that we are going to start with the Monarch Chetna modules, and we would again be approaching all the district collectors and the states, SCRTs for this. But going through the teachers, I think that's the best way to go to schools. So thanks for that. Now I would like to come to the district of, what should I say, Krishna's temple, Udupi. Yeah, we have Sri Purma Rao, who is the district collector. We all feel very proud of, we proudly say, whenever we talk about Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan in various forums, I very proudly say that women lead this Abhiyan. As you all know, that Anganwadi workers, Asha workers, or even the homemakers, both in urban and rural areas, they're integral part of Abhiyan. I don't think, if not for them, Abhiyan would not have seen this kind of success. So, Purma Rao, I would like to call you and ask you about, the contribution of Anganwadi workers, the children, the young girls in your districts. How have they contributed? Because I know that, on that front, ODP has done exceptionally well. So I would request you to share your experience on that.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, friends. First of all, myself, Kurma Rao, Deputy Commissioner, Udupi District in Karnataka. Ma'am, thank you, ma'am, for recognizing Udupi's efforts, especially in this great Abhiyan. We have formulated a joint action plan, ma'am, which is appreciated by NCPCR, especially National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. They have appreciated our joint action plan also. Ma'am, as you mentioned, ma'am, one important thing we are doing is the involvement and training of the grassroots level functionaries, especially women functionaries at the village level, especially Anganwadi workers and ASHA workers. We have trained them, ma'am, and then we have oriented them what they are doing in regular house to house visits. They will give the information also, and they will mention about this initiative, and at the same time they will identify some kind of addicts. If they could identify, they will refer to the higher level institutions, ma'am. That is the kind of thing they are doing. They are maintaining some kind of primary level to the tertiary level, whatever the connect is needed, they are doing, ma'am. That is one thing, ma'am. And second thing, ma'am, especially we have trained the master volunteers in different colleges levels, ma'am. For that, even our consultant Adarsh also came, ma'am. That time we are there. That is a very good thing, ma'am, which is helping us because those volunteers are only in turn training the other people, ma'am, and they are giving the orientation as well, ma'am. And third thing, ma'am, especially we are because we have very higher premier institutions also, ma'am, in Manipal area and all in Udupi, ma'am. What we are doing, ma'am, we are running some kind of drug-free campus campaign, ma'am. Our SP also taking very good initiative, ma'am, in that. So in the institutions and as well as in all the kind of youth forums, ma'am, wherever we are doing any kind of event, whether it is sports event or any kind of event, there we will do the pledge, ma'am, like Nasha Mukta Abhiyan pledge. We are making it compulsory kind of, ma'am. Like some of the events myself and SP also going, ma'am. So the for the youth, this is one thing, ma'am, we are doing, ma'am. So, ma'am, another thing, especially in addition to this kind of awareness thing, ma'am, in the time in the supply curbs also, especially we are taking, ma'am. Recently, we have done so many kind of raids also, ma'am, wherein we could find even this kind of food delivery bags also we could get some kind of elements, ma'am, in this. And also, whenever some kind of event is happening in college, ma'am, some kind of check also we are doing, health check we are doing. We could found some students there, and then that helps the kind of how the chain is going on, other information also we could get, ma'am. That kind of things also we are doing, ma'am. So this is regarding supply curbs, ma'am. And third thing, ma'am, as you mentioned, ma'am, as in this event, the entire three-pronged strategy we are taking up, ma'am. The third thing is even the treatment part also with the health institutes. We have conducted de-addiction camps also, ma'am. A very good response we are getting, ma'am. We are getting that also we are taking up, ma'am. In addition to this, whatever the social media, because these days, whether it is Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, these thing also we are extensively using, and we are trying to reach out to the youth and stakeholders. Thanks for giving this opportunity, ma'am.
Very good work, very good work. I would request all the district collectors, outstanding things you people are doing. And we are only creating a medium of what you are doing in the field, that it should be seen everywhere, it should be known to people, so that some of them can replicate it, some of them would appreciate you, and some of them would really send you those good wishes. And we would also like to showcase your, what are the activities all of you are doing. You here who are present with us, and those of you who are not present and who have joined earlier or will join subsequently. One request to all of you is that we have all the practices adopted by you in your districts. But I think these best practices are best said in your own words, in your own way of expressions, with your own pictures, etc. Request you all to formally send us the best practices you have undertaken in your district so that we can make a compilation of it and circulate to all the collectors and all the states in this country. That would be very good. So Udupi, coming back to what all you have done, as you rightly said, campuses. You have one of the biggest educational campuses. I think the strength of students, including the international students, is at least 60,000 per year, if I'm not if you see another major pillar of Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan is convergence. This is where all of us, maybe from the revenue side, maybe from the enforcement side, say in a district setup, district collector and SP working for it, the legal services working for it, the community working for it, colleges, academicians working for it, civil society is working for it. I think it's a beautiful example. Abhiyan is a beautiful example of convergence. And you all are sitting there in your districts and making that happen. Thank you all very much for that. So I would now go to our, what should I say, Dr. Owais, our biking DC from Bandipora. Whenever we have motor rallies, excellent, rallies which are done in that beautiful place of Bandipora in Jammu Kashmir. We have seen the pictures of, the district collector leading these rallies, different ways, innovative ways of, doing it. So many people following him literally. So Dr. Owais, from District Collector Bandipora from Jammu Kashmir, request you to share your experience as to how you organize this mass rallies to substance, to spread awareness about substances, about your clubs, the school clubs, and importantly about your village programs. You're working in the villages, your teams are working in the villages. I have real-time feed from your district and how you are working in the villages with the Gram Sabhas, with the Panchayats. What are you doing there? So please tell me what's happening in your district, Dr. Owais.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, dear colleagues and listeners. Ma'am, thank you for the opportunity to present all the activities that we have been doing in Bandipura, and also I would like to throw some light on the issue that we had here. Ma'am, as you're aware, being a border district, we have around 100 kilometers of border we share with POK, and most of the villages being remote, and also most of the villages have massive forest area along with them, which we had information was being used somewhere illicitly for cultivation of bhang and other such uh, products. Also, what I found was when we started our campaign of Nasha Mukt Bharat and we wanted to speak to people, speak to youngsters, there was this kind of it seemed that not many people wanted to come forward and speak about it, and everyone knew about the problem. And as in the case of Baramulla, we also had many families coming to us telling us to keep their wards children um, in behind bars so that at least they are away from drugs. But very few events like this were being organized where people were actually coming forward and speaking about the problem. And to create massive awareness, we used a multi-pronged strategy in which our number one priority was engaging youth. And what we found was that our youth, mostly the college going or the people who are in colleges or working in early 30s or in their 20s, we did a number of programs which included this famous bike rally also, one which we had done from Bandipura headquarters to many of our rural areas. We did two or three of such bike rallies to Gurez also, which is a far-flung border subdivision of the district. We also did a 4x4 car rally where people from other districts also participated along Gurez route. Uh, it was also the many programs were carried in colleges and schools. We had total 76 higher secondary schools and high schools, and we formed Nasha Mukt clubs in all of these schools, where at least 520 documented programs have been held till now, where students have come forward, they have spoken about drug abuse, there have been debate competitions, painting competitions, and at least there is a talk about this drug menace that we had here. We also had week-long IC activity where mobile vans, where vans of municipal committees with all the speakers, they were touring throughout the cities, telling about the problem of drug menace, how to deal with it, how to come out of it, and the facilities being provided at drug de-addiction cell that we presently have in our district hospital. What happened after this was that since many people, especially students, were speaking about it, and then we involved the panchayats also. And at the Gram Sabha level, I think in every Gram Sabha, each and every PRI member and each and every Sarpanch and Panch had the opportunity to speak about the menace. What we did was we did a secret exercise where we involved the sarpanches and we identified the drug abusers and the drug peddlers, if they could name, which the drug users were not being treated as criminals; they were being treated as victims, and they were then taken to a drug de-addiction cell in district Bandipura, and we got some 76 names from these sarpanches. This was all very secret, and we did it very secretly with our institutions at panchayat level. And then what happened after this campaign, when people came to know that the drug users are not to be treated as criminals, and there is a way forward, they can get treated, and they are victims. So our role in our treatment facilities, it increased. Earlier, it used to be around 15 to 20 odd people who were on medication, who were being treated. It increased to 308. And also, since people were now speaking, they were also speaking about the drug peddlers. And we were able to break some huge nexus in our district. We had some 46 FIRs registered. So police played a very important role in breaking these nexuses. And three drug peddlers were also arrested and under PSA. Some drug material was also seized by police in various parts of Bandipura. And during these awareness, ma'am, as you rightly said, that we have to follow the convergence mode. We had police, we had District Legal Services Authority who were telling about the legal provisions, the penal provisions about drug abusers, drug peddlers, especially drug peddlers. And ma'am, a special peculiar kind of thing which we saw in Madhepura was that these drug peddlers, they were not selling these products initially. They were just trying that these students, these young people, they get used to these drugs, and then when they're out of money, then they under compulsion, they became drug peddlers. So we got to know all these stories after going deep into the problem, going at panchayat level, interacting with people. Also, we had sessions where the people who were drug addicts due to certain circumstances and they were out of it now, they addressed gatherings of students and PRI members. They told about their story, and they also told that how the treatment is done, how you get out of it, and it is not something which you should be ashamed of. Rather, you should come forward and get treatment. That was our motive, and I think we were able to achieve that. And also, ma'am, now since we got an governance award also for our Panchayat Development Index, where we have different parameters of different panchayats on which a panchayat is being ranked. So we have added this also to the Panchayat Development Index, although it's very subjective, but still we get a panchayat-wise ranking about how many events have been conducted under Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan, and what is the status, how many are being treated, and things like that, ma'am. And also, we are going with CCTV coverage of education institutions outside their boundaries, so that we can also monitor the movements of certain drug peddlers. A number of other IC activities also being carried out will further be intensified, ma'am.
That's outstanding. That's really good, outstanding, Ovis. You flagged a very important points like, going back to village. The general perception is that probably drugs are used only by the urban. It's prevalent maybe only in the urban cities. But there is a study, as a part of the national study, comprehensive study, there is a study, a focused thematic study which was done, which says that the prevalence of drugs is there, not just in urban areas, but it is there in rural areas. And it is not just in private educational institutions, but it is there in government educational institutions too. So it is there. I mean, there is no, it need not be, to confine the particular segment. So it is there. The problem is there. So the villages, going back to the villages and having the, panchayats work on it, the sarpanchas and panchas working on it, they being aware and creating awareness, and you ranking these panchayats on this scale. I think that's a very innovative way, and that's the way to go about it. So focus from everywhere, and maybe focus at the bottom too, at the grassroots level. That's a very good thing. The other thing is about cultivation. I think this would be relevant to some of the states which are present here, the cultivation. As you know, the Department of Revenue also encourages the alternative crops cultivation. If you see in the Northeast, in fact, yesterday there was a discussion what is the need to, there is a definite need to promote alternative cultivation, especially in states which are growing cannabis. We need to promote alternative crop, maybe a cash crop, but whatever is the lucrative crop that needs to be promoted. Maybe we can also look at alternatives. The other important point which was earlier flagged to is about the border villages. So it requires a complete, as you all know, there are about 17,000 border villages approximately in about 18 states and UTs. So if that is our target, then they should have a focused interventions, what all we need to do there, that we would discuss with all of you as a separate strategy. And here also, Dr. Sandesh also pointed out, and here, subsequently, Oves also pointed out, is that, when we are looking at, as you all know, we work on the three-pronged strategy: supply side, the demand reduction side, and the harm reduction side. That is the higher levels of treatment, which is dealt by the health. So as we look at, approach, generally this three-pronged strategy, they are not silos. They are mutually, they are linked to each other. So when we are doing demand reduction activities, we definitely, because as revenue, as collectors, as revenue administration heads, people, you are more accessible to people. So your teams and you would get certain information about the suppliers or the peddling related information, the supply related information, you would pass on to the concerned people. But there are people down the structure, like say when you're working at a village level, when some information is gathered about peddlers of that particular area, where to pass on this information could be an issue. So request you all to just check on that where this information is being passed on. For the general public, as you all know, 14446 is the national toll-free helpline number, which not only gives the primary counseling to the needy, but it also collects the information of people who are calling. Like in case anybody has to give anonymously any supply related information, that can definitely be shared on 14446, which will go to the Narcotics Control Bureau and the other enforcement agencies. So thank you always for sharing your experiences. Now we move on to Tirunelveli, Vishnu. I think last time we had reviewed Vishnu when I was in Tamil Nadu. And I'm very glad to call you to be a part of this panel. Tell us what is Nelai. You have this drug-free Nelai campaign. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Nelai.
Yes, ma'am. That's right, ma'am. First of all, thank you for the.
How you have involved these, PRI functionaries, and about your signature campaigns, and how you have conversed with all the departments, including the rural development, and what have you done in your hotspots? Vishnu, can you share?
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, thank you for the opportunity, and thanks to all my colleagues who have joined here. Ma'am, we are the first line of districts selected for NMBA. Now, before getting into the strategy part, ma'am, I would like to highlight two important points. Unlike other government schemes where the cohort or the target group is a finite target group, here all the target groups are invisible. We don't even know whom we are targeting in the first place. They're all on guessworks, they're all on estimates, or at best biases that we may have in ourselves. Point number two is that no activity will be taken seriously by the public unless the law enforcement part is tightened very clearly by the district magistrate and the police concerned. In our state, Honorable CM is spearheading the the Drive Against Drugs campaign. So I think our first focus was primarily on law enforcement. we have effectively used the Section 68 of the NDPS Act, which basically empowers the police to seize bank accounts, freeze the bank accounts. And in Tirunelveli district alone, we have got 127 bank accounts which have been freezed. I believe this is one of the highest numbers in the whole country. And second is more than 20 kg. If more than 20 kg of any psychotropic drugs or ganja is seized, we have even powers to seize their immovable assets. So these are very strong message that we send out to the public, because all kinds of regular IEC and other campaigns, public look at it as kind of a optics unless it is backed up by very clear, legible law enforcement actions. So I think we have sent across a message very clearly that we mean business, and we have an excellent coordination with the police, including up to the Inspector General of Police at the South Zone range. So that's the point number one, ma'am. And we have also active community policing strategies where police officers, and not necessarily the SP, but inspector and head constable officers also visit the schools and colleges, because this is very important. Collector and SP visiting a school and college is more of a symbolic event-based activity. But what is needed is a continuous engagement at the local level police officials and revenue officials, which we are enforcing. We have also conversed with the one-stop center and other line departments functioning in the district. Point number two is on the prevention aspect, ma'am. Like all other collectors have pointed out, we have targeted high-risk groups, especially transgenders, because we need to understand the carriers of drugs in many cases, because the economics of drugs is often forgotten and we focus on the social part of it. Why is it that the moment we have a seizure, it gives a lull period for 2 to 3 months, but again it kind of regains its strength? It's because the economics is very simple. For every carrier, there is at least 3x times profits that are being made. So every time a chain is cut off, a new chain is formed. And this is where we have come out with a very, very credible mechanism of invoking the past drug peddlers closely with us. We do have a cohort of understanding with the police, and we do have a close liaising with the erstwhile, drug peddlers who act as informants for us. And we do have our anti-drug clubs. I'm sure all districts have done it. Nothing special on that campaign. We are also in touch with religious groups, because we need to look at who are the social influencers in many cases. And it's not necessarily the NGOs and government officials. Religion also plays a major role, and we actively reach out to all the religious groups also to sensitize the impact of drugs. And we also have a campaign at the grassroots level, where recently also we had a meeting of all the panchayat presidents, and we have asked the panchayat presidents to pass a resolution that each of their village will be a drug-free village. It is more of a gesture, but then there are a few panchayat presidents who actively came forward and is willing to share credible information to the district administration. So I think that's a very positive outcome of the meeting that we had with the panchayat presidents. Another is again targeting likely vulnerable cohorts. We are doing a back-end data work on who are the likely government school students and college students based on the data of their family structures. Because quite often what we have found is that broken families tend to be easy vulnerable targets. And out-of-school database is also available at the district level. So out-of-school students are being tracked to understand where they stand right now. Have they fallen prey to any drug peddling activities? So this is something which a cohort-based, very back-end work that we do. And another aspect in terms of law enforcement, which we are actively involved, is tracking on the out-of-counter sales in medical shops. This is something which missed the radar of the district administration. It falls under the Drugs and Cosmetics Acts, where the district collector per se has no powers, but still, I think a lot of over-the-counter sales happen, both for prescription and non-prescription drugs. This is being monitored, which instills kind of a sense of fear in the medical shop owners also. We have shared the list with this police. This we have very reliably learned that this has reduced the sale of banned drugs across the sales, which was free for available in the earlier circumstances. So I think a three-pronged strategy of prevention, treatment, and law enforcement, where primacy is right now given to law enforcement as our strategy right now. Rest of the soft activities which are undertaken across the country, I do not want to repeat it. Most of my colleagues have already highlighted the salient features. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Vishnu. You said the target group. As we all know, the target group is invisible, right? And here is the set of group which you all know, you have experienced, that where the parents are coming and surrendering their children and saying that we are not able to manage our own children because they have taken to drugs and they are resorting to a certain kind of behavior which cannot be managed by us at home, and therefore, please take them, you jail them or you do whatever you want with them, but please, if you can set them right, then it's good for us. These are the cases where the families and the parents themselves are coming and saying. So we are dealing with that kind of population on one hand, and the vulnerabilities. You said, the broken families and affected families, where there is a certain vulnerability about them, individually or with the family, they are more susceptible to use of substances, right? So when they are, like we are dealing with this segment of population, which is already having certain kind of issues which require help. Okay, and we are there to provide that, you all are there to provide that. So there is a policy on this, where the peddlers are concerned, sakti se pesh aani chahiye. That means you have to be very strong on them. Okay, and when there is a user should be treated as a victim. So sahanubhuti se pesh aani chahiye. That means the user should be treated as a victim. So while you are doing the law enforcement, a little word of caution is that the users, because they're already, in they're at their bottom, their family is at their bottom. So when we are doing certain things, or even when we are giving help to them, we need to be utmost empathetic. This is not something which you're not aware of, all of you are aware of, but as law enforcement agencies, as the keepers of law, when we are rendering something or delivering something, so that caution, that empathy should always be there when we are dealing with this invisible, already vulnerable segment of the population we cover under the Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan. So very good insights, Vishnu. Now we move on to the last panelist here today with us, Parth Gupta, who is the district collector of Sirsa, Haryana. Sirsa, Haryana is the one of the first district 272 districts which has been doing well, and they have done exceptionally well with the women's participation at various levels, at the village level, especially the rural population, the rural women leading this abhiyan. So I would now call on Parth Gupta to share his experiences about women being the front runners in the district of this abhiyan.
Good evening, ma'am, and good evening to all colleagues. Ma'am, some of the challenges that Sirsa district faces is that we share a long border with Punjab and Rajasthan. Ma'am, there is the availability of high addiction synthetic drugs is another challenge, ma'am. When it comes to physical infrastructure like de-addiction centers and rehabilitation centers, those are also found wanting, ma'am, in quality and in quantity. When it comes to healthcare resources, including psychologists and other staff, for a district like Sirsa, which is away from very significant urban centers, those that are also proposes a challenge, ma'am. Ma'am, some of the steps that we have taken are when it comes to the stakeholders, as ma'am you pointed out, we have actually constituted women committees in all the villages, as ma'am women are the most impacted demographic in this entire issue, be it a mother, be it a wife, be it a daughter or sister. So ma'am, those committees are actually helping us to help to identify and actually ensure that the entire duration of treatment is undertaken by the user. Ma'am, secondly, village level teams and ward level teams have been constituted, ma'am, in the entire district, which include people from all walks of life and all departments, from sarpanches to panchayat members to revenue officers to police officers. And even departments like education and health have been taken on board in these committees so that we have a representation from all the concerned departments. Ma'am, then again, ma'am, religious organizations have been roped in, and ma'am, their PA system is used to disseminate message against the use of drugs. Ma'am, all the concerned team members or the stakeholders, ma'am, training have been started for them, and so that they can they are well trained about identifying and the further course of action regarding this issue. Then again, ma'am, one practice that we have started is that the rehabilitated users, ma'am, they are actually designated as role models in their respective villages or their respective localities. They help in disseminating the message as well as identifying other users. Ma'am, positive engagements like Rural Olympic, that was organized in this district, and all villages were covered, and both children in the school and out of school children, they participated in this ma'am event. So ma'am, we are creating a database, online database of users, village-wise and ward-wise in cities. This will help us understand the scale of the problem as well as the progress that we'll be making. Ma'am, to keep a check on schools and colleges, Dhaka teams have been constituted, which consist of students and teachers or professors of that particular institute. They report us back on the trend of uses of these substances, as well as counsel their friends about staying away from these substances, ma'am. Ma'am, another thing that we are working on is to destigmatize the uses of drugs by casual users. Ma'am, this is generally the trend is that families try and protect the users because if any such message goes out, information goes out, then there are issues regarding the marriage or of the concerned user. So there's a tendency by the families to sweep the problem under the carpet. Ma'am, enforcement activity, as is being said, is being done by the police department. While for the NDPS cases, ma'am, the legal department is also on board, and we keep a track of major cases and ensure that they go to logical conclusion. Another thing, ma'am, that is being done here and in the state of Haryana is that immovable assets of, ma'am, big time convicts, that is being demolished, that is being identified and demolished on a regular basis. So this sends out a strong message that any proceed or the gains from such a trade will not be ensured to be used for the benefit of the distributors or peddlers. Lastly, ma'am, one of the measures that was undertaken was to get the pharmacists on board to track the sale of loose syringes and painkillers like tramadol and other drugs which are used for intoxication. Ma'am, here also we are creating an online database, and shortly we'll be having this figure on a real-time basis about such sales of such medical equipment. Lastly, ma'am, we hope that these measures, ma'am, they will give substantial result in the months to come. Thank you, ma'am.
I'm sure, Parth, they would give substantial results, and we have the results. In the last 2 years, I can be here in my chair and I'm telling everybody that this is what our collectors are doing, this is what our states are doing, and this is how we progressed. So if you see a lot of you has shared earlier that people are coming out. Earlier it was a complete taboo. There's a complete silence about, whose takings are census, the families coming out and revealing, or the youth themselves coming out and saying that I have been into this, now I need help. That kind of help-seeking behavior or reduction a bit in the stigmatization of the users, all this is, we all are seeing. It has evolved over a period of time. So definitely results would come, but having said that, it's a very tall order because no system can, overnight or over a year or 2 years, we cannot completely change the system, but we can definitely initiate it. We definitely initiated the change together, and that would yield results. In fact, yesterday when we had a meeting, one of the very senior officers here in Delhi, the question to me was that, normally any abhiyan, gets closed in, say, it's for a period. It's for 6 months, 1 year, usually it closes. How are you able to sustain this, this abhiyan for more than 2 years and still going very strong? How did you, how do you all ensure this? That was the question directly asked by a very senior officer to me when I had gone for a meeting yesterday on review of narcotics at the Government of India level. So that credit I would give to all of you, to all the collectors, to all my collectors who are working in the field. Some of them have started, some of them are experts in this, and some of them are thinking, very, very innovatively and very lateral thinking has come into this when we are talking about the prescription drugs, non-prescription drugs, use of tramadol, supply of tramadol, the need to curb or need to be vigilant about the shops selling these medicines. Okay, as Vishnu mentioned, over the counter, there's so many, prescription drugs which are being sold, which are actually also intoxicating. Okay, and there's so different, and how to involve people, and what should be the strategies for each segment of the beneficiaries. So much of thinking and so much of effort has gone into Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan. We still have lot of work to do together. We still have so much of work to do, and we have to pull in so many people into this abhiyan and make it very informative. Ultimately, what is the aim? The aim of the abhiyan is to ensure people that, that we are a drug sensitized nation. We know that our youth, we made our youth capable of taking an informed decision, that even if they choose to take a wrong decision, but they know the consequences of it, and they are ready to face the consequences for that. That is what we can aim for, and all of you have been working excellently, and I congratulate all of you on this forum. And to the viewers, I would like to say that, our collectors across the country and the panelists especially present here, the panelists are chosen based on their contribution to Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan, and they have been extraordinary in their performance. And while concluding, I would like to say a few points. The need for setting up of de-addiction facilities in your districts and in your states. The Government of India is ready to support the facilities you want. Please send in your proposals. The second thing is your government hospitals. It is not necessary that we should set up the rehabilitation facilities per se, but already the operational government hospitals, we can definitely set up these de-addiction facilities, addiction treatment facilities. Please send in your proposals. The third one is like, I would like you all now moving slightly above this panel. We would also like to involve some of you in our discussions, which we, the ministry, does with the NCB, with the MHA, and with certain international bodies. And we would be choosing some of the collectors to come and share their practices and also to contribute in a discussion and at a higher policy level based on their experience in the districts. So the fourth point I'd like to make is the border areas. Border areas are our focus now. Border areas and prisons are our focus. And the border areas, as I said, 17,000 border villages are there, and we would be having a workshop with the states concerned, and we would call in some of the district collectors also to be a part of that workshop who are involved, who are having these border districts and villages. So these are the points which I would like to say, and thank you all for joining on this panel. And I congratulate all of you for having contributed so much so far. But being a part of this panel discussion, being a part of further discussions with the ministry and at a higher level is going to add to your responsibilities, more responsibility on all your shoulders regarding Nasha Mukt Bharat Abhiyan. Very shortly, as I always say, we keep visiting from the ministry to your district, to your states, and we would like to interact with you all personally. And as you all know, our project monitoring unit, as Kurmarao has mentioned that about Adarsh, and we have these youngsters who are working in your states and in your districts. As and when you require that assistance is required, their help is required, or their assistance is required, please feel free to contact them for any kind of information. Thank you all so much for joining this panel, all the dynamic district collectors, and all the viewers and the stakeholders and the younger generation especially who's watching this program. Thank you all so much, and we'll meet you at a later date again. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.